Let's get you started on the latest on the coronavirus. All eyes are going to be in Washington this morning in the Senate hearing, all about getting the nation safely back to work and school. Overnight, we learned that Dr. Anthony Fauci is expected to deliver a stern warning on the danger of trying to open the country prematurely.
Nevertheless, New York, the state hardest hit by the coronavirus, is set to begin a phased reopening that's starting on Friday. Also this morning, Major League Baseball owners have reportedly approved a plan to start the season in early July. We'll have more on that just ahead, Savannah.
All right, but as we begin our coverage, let's check in with the latest figures. The U.S. death toll from the coronavirus now approaching 82,000 people. That's higher than any flu season in more than 50 years.
We're going to begin, though, this morning with that crucial hearing in Washington, D.C. today. NBC's White House correspondent Kristen Welker has the very latest on this. Hey, Kristen, good morning.
Hey, Hoda, good morning to you. The top doctors on the coronavirus task force will testify by video conference before a key Senate committee today because they're all self-quarantining in some fashion after coming into contact with a White House staffer who's tested positive. Among them is Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's expected to make a blunt assessment. Reopening the country too soon will cost lives. Today, a stark warning from the country's top infectious disease expert. The New York Times reporting that Dr. Anthony Fauci will tell the Senate today that Americans will experience, quote, needless suffering and death if the country opens up too quickly, saying the move would actually set us back on our quest to return to normal. That report is coming as President Trump is aiming to project confidence about the road ahead in the Rose Garden Monday, appearing to declare victory.
We have met the moment. And we have prevailed.
And then clarifying when pressed by NBC's Jeff Bennett.
You said in your comments earlier, we have met the moment, we have prevailed. To you, sir, is the mission accomplished?
No, we prevailed on testing is what I'm referring to. That was with regard to testing. You never prevail when you have 90,000 people, 100,000 people. When you have 80,000 people as of today.
It comes as officials are scrambling to contain coronavirus cases inside the White House. Staffers entering the West Wing are now required to wear a mask after at least 2 staffers tested positive last week, including Katie Miller, spokesperson to Vice President Mike Pence. In an interview taped last Friday with Axios on HBO, the vice president addressing his interaction with Miller.
I don't know that I have seen her wear a mask. I do know that she tested negative yesterday and tested positive this morning.
Meanwhile, the topic of testing leading to a tense exchange when the president was pressed on why he compares testing here at home with other countries.
Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay?
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically? China?
I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Now, as for today, we reached out to an NIH spokesperson about Dr. Fauci's expected testimony, and so far no response. Meanwhile, NBC News has learned that coronavirus infection rates are spiking in several metropolitan areas and also smaller communities. This is according to data obtained by NBC. Those areas include Nashville, Tennessee, Des Moines, Iowa, and Amarillo, Texas. Savannah?
All right, Kristen, thank you. And we want to mention NBC News will have live coverage of today's Senate hearing later this morning. In the meantime, more states are now easing those stay-at-home orders, including here in New York, where certain parts of the state will begin reopening later this week. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in Times Square in New York City with the latest on this. Hey, Gabe, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. The governor is calling this a new chapter, and while it's still unclear when hard-hit New York City might start to reopen, the mayor suggested that that's not likely until at least June. Parts of upstate New York are now preparing to join most of the country in getting back to business. This morning, a grim milestone for New York City. The Department of Health saying the latest death toll from COVID-19 now tops 20,000. That report coming as New York's governor says the state is on the other side of the mountain.
This is the next big step in this historic journey.
Starting Friday, some parts of the state will be allowed to partially reopen if they've met specific criteria, like a sustained drop in new COVID cases, available hospital beds, and testing capacity. New York City has still not met those reopening goals, but that's not stopping Glenn Schlossberg. Instead of getting desperate, he's getting creative, opening this takeout French fry shop this week.
I'm in the fashion business, and retail stores are shut down right now. We're all doing nothing. I said, now is the time.
In neighboring New Jersey, reports of 72 deaths at a state-run care facility for veterans. Those grim numbers are emerging as businesses around the country assess how and when to open their doors. In Long Beach, California, bike paths and public parks are back.
This is what we've been waiting for.
In Florida, the Disney Springs Entertainment Complex is preparing to reopen next week, but not without some big changes.
Along with social distancing, one of the things that we're likely going to require is masks for both the cast and the guest.
Mississippi barbershops are now allowed to open with 6 feet between chairs and booths as South Carolinians get ready to enjoy their first taste of indoor dining in months.
Going inside and having the atmosphere of the restaurant is going to be really exciting.
In Anchorage, Alaska, bar owners are welcoming back customers cautiously.
We can't mess it up. If we mess it up, we're going to go right back to closing everything down and staying at home.
Here in New York State, each region will have to wait 2 weeks to monitor new COVID cases before moving on to the next phase of reopening. Still, this is seen as a pivotal week, more than 50 days after that stay-at-home order went into effect. Hoda?
All right, Gabe Gutierrez for us in Times Square. Gabe, thank you. Now to a high-profile fight over the right to reopen. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says production has now resumed at the company's factory in California that's in defiance of public health orders to remain shut down. NBC's Joe Fryer has that story for us. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Good morning. Tesla had been working with local officials on a plan to reopen, but over the weekend, Elon Musk seemed to lose patience, filing a lawsuit against the county and firing off a series of angry tweets. Now it appears he has taken the fight a step further. Teslas are coming off the production line again. CEO Elon Musk tweeted, "Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules," adding, "I will be on the line with everyone else. If anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me." A member of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors says they had been close to a deal with Tesla.
I wish Elon would have waited one more week so we could have just done this in a methodical fashion that really put people back to work safely.
But over the weekend, Musk tweeted, "This is the final straw. Tesla will now move its headquarters and future programs to Texas and Nevada immediately." That same day, Tesla sued Alameda County, arguing that the automaker is an essential business as defined by the state and has met California guidelines for reopening. The dispute comes as some of Tesla's competitors are starting to reopen production facilities around the U.S. In a statement, the county health department wrote, "We have notified Tesla that they can only maintain minimum basic operations until we have an approved plan that can be implemented in accordance with the local public health order," adding, "We hope that Tesla will likewise comply without further enforcement measures." Law enforcement sources told NBC News there were no immediate actions planned against Tesla. Musk, who recently became a father to a baby boy dubbed X-A12, has been an outspoken critic of stay-at-home orders, telling podcast host Joe Rogan they're a complete violation of rights.
Yeah, my opinion is if somebody wants to stay home, they should stay home. And if somebody doesn't want to stay home, they should not be compelled to stay home.
Health orders can bring fines on a daily basis or even jail time. Sources tell us this dispute is likely to be resolved through negotiations or in court. Savannah.
All right, Joe, thank you. We have much more to get to, including some big developments in the Ahmad Arbery case. A new prosecutor is now taking over, and federal officials are weighing the possibility of hate crime charges in the shooting death of the 25-year-old. NBC's Blaine Alexander has the very latest on this story. Blaine, good morning.
Well, Savannah, good morning to you. That new appointee is from Metro Atlanta. That's about 4 hours away from the place where this shooting took place. And Arbery's family says that's exactly what they were hoping for. This morning, the murder case of Ahmad Arbery is in the hands of a new prosecutor, Joyette Holmes, appointed by Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr.
She's been a prosecutor, she's been a defense attorney, and she's also been a judge.
Two previous prosecutors recused themselves over potential conflicts of interest. Arbery's family pushed for the change.
I played the waiting game, and finally it seems like something's getting done.
Gregory McMichael, a former police officer, and his son Travis were charged with murder 10 weeks after the shooting. Now the Justice Department is considering whether to investigate how this case was handled by local authorities, a request from Georgia's top prosecutor. What are the biggest concerns that you have with this?
Well, there's a lot of questions that have been surrounding why it took so long for an arrest to be made. Within 48 hours of the state being involved, an arrest was made.
According to a police report, the senior McMichael told police Arbery violently attacked his son Travis, who fired the shots. An autopsy report obtained by NBC station WTLV concludes Arbery was shot 3 times during a struggle for the shotgun. McMichael told police he and Travis, both armed, followed Arbery thinking he was a burglary suspect. Arbery's family says he was unarmed, just out for a jog. But attorneys for Arbery's family say these surveillance videos prove he did nothing wrong. Here, a man who appears to be Arbery briefly enters, then leaves an open construction site moments before the deadly encounter. Now, as the McMichaels remain in jail on murder charges, the Justice Department says it is assessing all of the evidence to determine whether federal hate crimes charges are appropriate in the case.
Had Ahmad done the exact same thing, but he was white, we would have had a completely different result.
When you first saw the video, what was your reaction?
I was stunned, and I was sickened by it. And I think that's why it's important that we swiftly and thoroughly and transparency get to the bottom of this.
Now, so far, we have not been able to locate an attorney for the McMichaels, but before recusing himself, one of the previous prosecutors said that he believed they were making a citizen's arrest, which he called perfectly legal. Hoda.
All right, Blaine, thank you.
Hoda, the best time of the morning, we say hello to Mr. Roker. Good morning, sunshine.
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we got another 24 hours of below average temperatures for the eastern half of the country. Then things get better. But this morning, boy, is it chilly. 58 million people under frost advisories or freeze warnings. We are looking at cold air coming in with numerous lows possible from Minneapolis, Marquette, Knoxville, all the way to Raleigh, Durham, and up into New York City. For highs today, we're going to see temperatures anywhere from 10 to 25 degrees below average. But the good news is we're going to see a change. That stubborn low over Canada pulling Arctic air to the south, that lifts away. The jet stream goes up to the north, and we are looking by the late week to temperatures to near normal. And then next week, we expect to see a warm surge of air from the Gulf of Mexico with temperatures above average.